super family, F.onic Philippines!
And let's welcome their opponents.
From underdogs to game changers, they have soared above every challenger. Looking to make it past another obstacle, give it up for Falcon Esports!
The pride of the Philippines versus the pride of Myanmar. Here they are on stage, led in by their coaches. Coming up, it's Coach Why Not and Coach Hayes of F.onic Philippines versus Coach Nyochao and Coach RC of Falcon Esports. I'm getting the vibes, gentlemen. Throwing back to M2, throwing back to M4. Like, this is that match.
And I love how you started. You know, you laid it all out so well, Leo. Filipino dominance started against Myanmar. That was the Philippines' first world stage crown, their first big trophy. That's when the era began. And there's always the talks in Discord corners. There's always the talks in YouTube chats about when will the era end. So the question is, can Falcon Esports make full circle here and try to reclaim some of that power?
And only them can answer that, right? And we have to see how will they match up against F.onic. I mean, you see King Kong in the jungle just swinging around, getting the job done. The team to really be defeated or have much major competition, even against TLID. It was a clean victory, and you saw them in control. Little to no struggle.
In about a minute and change, the match will begin. That means the draft will be upon us. But for now, go ahead, claim this redeem code. This is for y'all, part of this. Make an M6 all the more special. Thank you all so much. That's for y'all. Type it in before it goes, before it runs out. Now, I hear that we have a few words with the beast himself, King Kong, telling us about how they beat SRG. First of all, they didn't expect anything, but they want to win M6. And they never assume that they are stronger. At the end of the day, they're just doing their job, and they got to be confident in everything that they do.
You know what I love about that? A team that's confident, but a team that is also humble, right? Everybody sees them as a potential grand finalist here in M6, and not to breeze through and say, oh, we can stomp through everybody, but to be very humble about the experience says a lot about King Kong. It says a lot about F.onic.
It's very Filipino of them, you know? Just they feel confident. And I feel like F.onic has come into this just with the confidence, right? They have their pop-off moments, you know, Keller with a little banter here and there with some of the other gold laners, but overall, they come into this very confident, just knowing this is just another Friday to us, man. This is just another day of drafting, another day of gameplay. We saw him at the hotel last night, just RGing, man. RGing, late night RGing in the lobby, just hanging out. This is just another day for these boys.
And that's what makes it so scary. When you're Falcon Esports, you're up against not just one of the strongest teams in the world, but you're up against a machine. You're up against a team that just follows the process and somehow ends up with the best possible outcome.
I mean, right now, it's no secret. The underdogs are definitely Falcon Esports, right? And a lot of people are expecting this game to go over to F.onic. But with Falcon's backs against the wall, I say two things when it comes to pressure, right? It either bursts pipes or it makes diamonds. And today, we'll be able to see that between these two amazing teams. And we'll have to see just how they fare off.
Folks, it's time for us to get the game started. We're in the draft.
Butterflies.
Blue side, red side. Calling it now.
By lanterns light.
It looks like F.onic Philippines are going to be on the play. Falcons on red, get that two-pick swing. There goes the Alpha, the Hylos, and the Granger. Falcon take on the Fanny and the Zushin.
Okay, so does FCon get rid of the Bruno here, right? With the Granger being banned out, I don't think we've seen a first phase blue side Granger ban at all just yet. This may be one of our first, and I think it's a real power ban from F.onic here.
It's a clear tell. Coach Tony, Coach Hayes, they're attacking Benny and Dax. So here's my call, Blue Yo. Unless, I guess Falcon banned it out.
Since you're new, blue Suyo, blue side Suyo.
Oh,
That's
they banned it out!
Oh,
They banned it, so they're reading it as well.
it's taken off the table, but there is the Bruno locked in for F.onic, and Bruno 93% pickup rate and 55% on the win rate. Honestly, it's been such a heavy hitter, and a lot of teams try and find a way to work through it, right? You've seen the Angie Ling come out. Sometimes it worked in their favor, but other times completely got dominated.
I love that gambit. It's either you ban the Suyo here, we end up with it, or we take the Bruno. I think that was a good move, a good opening gambit by Fnatic.
It might have honestly been better just to do a throwaway ban, leave them both open for Falcon, right? Because I think that was the plan for F.onic. It's like, listen, we're going to force you to ban one of them. We get one of them no matter what. So now, what does FCon respond with?
Hey, the Eve is still on the table. Definitely something picked up. The Mathilda is still currently walking. The
Hilda also on the field. Joe.
Phobius and Joy.
All right, so it's not like Dax was running out, not in the first phase. So they put Royal Milk on one of his specialties. If you ask me, so far in his history in M6, it's this, the Phobius, or the CC.
This is comfortable. Game 1, it is a best of 5. We have to remember that. And if there's going to be a time that you go to comfortable picks, it is definitely Game 1. And FCon just sticking with that. F.onic, on the other hand, you pick up maybe jungler here, Cho, Alpha, or that was a Fredrin to counter against the Joy.
I like it, right? You have the Way of the Dragon, you have the crowd control, the knockup. To stop that Joy in its tracks, I mean, that's one of the hardest things with the Joy is the mobility. Now having a means to slow him down and the energy eruption from the Fredrin as well. It's definitely a power move from F.onic.
Believe it or not, this is just King Kong's third hero in all of M6. The Beast has played Joy, the Beast has played Suyo, and just this, the Fredrin. Folks, quick fun fact about Kid X, he holds the highest assists in a single game record in M6. That's 20 with the Hylos. He scored that against NIP Flash, and he's, by the way, the #1 tank amongst aggregate scores in all of the tanks, all the roamers in M6.
Okay, and speaking of that, now we get our tank locked in. First phase for the side of FCon. It is the Tigreal, and we saw how good this Tigreal did against Fredrins in the past. It's a beautiful answer to it. It's a great way to either push away, lock him down for a second, and give this Joy the ability to do whatever it wants in the pit. Now, coming into bans, second phase, FCon still are going to need a gold laner, they're going to need a mid laner, an F.onic mid laner, and then EXP most likely.
Yeah, and there goes that Hilda ban, going to take that off the table over there from Falcon Esports. Now, we have yet to see the Mage from either side. I mean, we have the Eve still available, the Aurora still can rise to the occasion. You know, I would say they could have went for the glue on F.onic, right? Especially when you have this Phobius, but without the mages on the table, the Vexana is still up for grabs.
And that's exactly what F.onic attack.
Yeah.
This is a PX7 special. 1/3 of the triple X. You take it away, you force him on something else, which I think they were expected to come through because a Tigreal and a Vexana, ooh, that's a lot of CC.
Hear me out, FCon, good mid laner choice. Aurora would be nice. I think we might see the ban. But we've seen this as Cillian a few times. We've seen it do great against the Fredrin, another big ranger, long distance mage. I think FCon, you find something that's backline, heavy backline.
I'm with ya, because so far, F.onic, they have good front line. They have good front to back. But who are you going to send to go catch PX7 if he does get his hands on a Sicilian? Does F.onic ban it here?
It's possible.
Is it worth
could
it?
be. I mean, we've been building up the end game.
Because Eve is still open.
Eve is still open. That's
Which
another
one?
big backliner. But they need a mid laner too, so it's like we also want to look for counterplay. We want to look for these ideas.
And Prince on the Eve was a thing of beauty.
Yes.
Prince on the Farsa.
There is light.
Now,
They ban it.
Also
Oh, Louis.
ooh, call me crazy, right?
F.con's got to take Eve.
But I say, yeah, you gotta take this Eve up while it's available. They're gonna take the Farza though, gonna lock in on a different side of artillery.
But that was also, we saw Super Prince on Farza yesterday too,
That's
which
right.
was disgusting. So either one.
He made the Mage Prodigy look like a prodigy. Like, you are the prodigy, I'm the monster. That's what happened yesterday. So what does Prince pick up now?
I mean, is the Eve still viable against
I mean,
Farza?
That's fighting fire with fire.
Oh yeah, you're both just long range. Whoever gets the better position in that extent.
Does set up a better box, or at least an equally sized box, because you also have a Tigreal
Yeah.
for FCon.
Yeah, and you also have a Cho, which still can be flexed to the XP lane. If they do that, technically they could pick up the Mathilda, put the Eve in there, you have a means to escape, and you have a means to engage, and I think that would be a good read, especially up against this composition.
A flex like that could be vicious on
Kirk has played it, and what a read! Wheezy on point.
Mr. Weezeman.
Wheezy F, is that for Fnatic? You got that Faramis Matilda combo, dirty duo here. We've seen it just a couple of times, a handful of times in MPL Philippines, and boy oh boy, was it quite the combo. So what's left for Falcons here? They still need a hero for Benny.
Gold lane, I mean, against the Faramis, what? They could pick up something like the Claude and go, we've seen a little bit. It's not that great right now, but at least counters, you could pick up Nabir's Passion,
Or a
you know,
Melissa.
or Melissa to
So
stop the
Beatrix,
dive.
Claude,
Melissa are
Melissa.
kind of I think that's the way we go.
Yeah, I would say Natan, but I don't know, looks a little shaky here. I think that's a good read. Definitely something that can play for survivability. You have a very heavy dive-centric composition and sustainability from F.onic. So as we are seeing that last pickup,
Carry.
locked in.
I mean, it does deal with the tankiness of Fredrin, but that Cult Altar, that's what I'm seeing the lack of right now. But at least they have the Joy to help deal with that.
All right, with the pick set in, let's throw it over to our casters, calling the action. It's Naisu and Ingan.
Thank you so much to the panel. Wheezy, great to have you with us. What is up, guys? I'm Naisu, joined here on the desk with Ingan, here to bring you the action. It's our first best of 5 ahead of us. How we doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great again. First best of 5 finally. I'm hoping this is gonna go all the way, and at the same time, looking at the lineup, this is what Royal Milky used
Yeah.
in game number 1 yesterday. The Phobias up against NIP Flash started things out strong with 707, and they're gonna look to replicate what happened yesterday.
Well, we're gonna find out if it works out. I know we've got a crowd here, so IOI Convention Center, are you ready? It's a ticket to the top 4 in Oxiana on the line. It's our first best of 5. Heading into the land of Dawn, will it be F.onic Philippines or Falcons Esports? And you guys get to cheer a little bit longer while we wait to get to the game. But we saw it, man. We saw the compositions. Our panel broke it down. Man, you know what? This is that point in the tournament where everybody's hyped. Everybody wants to know the top 4 teams
Yeah.
that are going to be heading for it.
Whoever wins, again, will proceed to the top 4, and at the same time, looking at F.onic Philippines, you know, this lineup is really rooted in the Filipino playstyle, the group ups. We even called it before the ultimate bonding experience. You have a Matilda paired up with a Faramis, and this time it's also King Kong on the Fredrin. So it's like a bit of a throwback with what F.onic Philippines, the super family, is gonna show up against a Falcon Esports.
Well, you can see it, you know, familiar faces, of course, out there too, and I think that's the thing, man. The environment changes a little bit here, Ingan, especially when we have a best of 5. We saw this, you know, already when we kind of made that switch where we were in best of 1s for a while, and then you finally see some of the teams obviously performing in the best of 3 now. The fact that this is a best of 5 for Falcon Esports, they've showed great things, and I think a lot of people really were awakened in a way, like seeing the Falcon Esports. And we know the region itself, very successful, you know, throughout even the M Series previously. But I feel like this is a big statement depending on how this game falls out. So here we go. Let's jump into the game here. Start it off. Game number 1, the best of 5. Ready to break this out again. As we get a look at the junglers, this is where it's really important. King Kong and Dax. We'll see if they can step up, especially Dax here. He's done amazing things, but
Yeah.
again, this is against King Kong. The guy has been the king of the jungle so far. Before we break it down a little bit further, everybody watching with us right now, M6 Pass.
Yeah,
It's now available.
it's actually the perfect time
This is the perfect time.
to get the M6 pass. While we head into a little bit of a troubleshooting, you can complete all active tasks during the event to reach level 75 for free. Get amazing rewards including Claude's battle emote, M6 Glory Avatar border, Baksha's battle emote, and the new special skin, Baksha Dauntless Shield. You know what, Naisu? What's the best part?
Tell me.
It's all for free!
It's all for free. You can get that at level 75 for free.
But it's hard to get to level
It's,
75.
hey man, you know what? That's why there's the support chest too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
If you got the diamonds, might as well spend it, you know? The
Speaking
50
of
diamonds.
support.
There's the support.
There's the support of Falcon Esports. I mean, man, even during the team lineup, the team entries, they were all so hyped Because again, Falcon Esports has been exceeding a lot of expectations. If you're going to go back to all the talent predictions when it comes to the top 8,
Yeah.
I rarely see Falcon Esports on the board. And right now, just looking at their track record, they won against Aurora, lost against Twisted Minds, won against SRG, BTK, and yesterday, NIP Flash with a sweep.
I think that's why I was saying, you know, it's just they've come into M6 again as a region. You know that they have a specific play style. They love to be pretty aggressive, and maybe that's what's needed here because our panel was the ones talking about this, man. They were saying that, you know, this might be one of the most aggressive Philippine teams that we've seen, you know, in F.onic Philippines, and Falcon Esports, that might be the answer to the problem that a lot of teams are having facing against, you know, F.NOP is, can you match their aggression? But I think it's always that question is like, if you can match their aggression, can you keep it up throughout the entirety of a game? Not just game one though, but like an entire series. And I think that's really where the test comes for a lot of the teams that will face off against teams like F.onic Philippines. I mean, you can almost say the same too for a team like Team Liquid ID, where last night, you know, they very decisive so far just through the matches that they've been through, and Falcon Esports has showed it. I think you really pointed this out too, just the fact that, you know, Royal Milk alone, you think about the XP lane, and it's not, I mean, let's be real, the hero choices in the XP lane there's been some more variety in M6, but some people say, man, XP is a little bit boring, you know, but I would say players like Royal Milk, for example, and even Kirk could be the same thing. Kirk popped off yesterday. He had like a deathless game on the Edict.
Even the Lord Steal.
Yeah.
We could forget that. He was getting targeted, getting bursted down, but when a Primal Wrath with the Edith was all he needed to get the Lord. And I do like the fact that you mentioned the XP lane, because looking at the first neutral objective, the turtle, no one rotates to the gold lane.
Yeah.
The gold lane is now the
be.
dead lane. They leave them be, give them enough space and time. It's all about the rotations in the XP lane. Who's going to clear up first? Who's going to get to rotate first? Who's going to be the aggressor first? And with the two XP laners, Royal Milk up against Kirk, we could see, I mean, action right away, even before 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how they kind of approach that. I think that's a good point too with the gold lane, specifically where, you know, they've known that they've been left to their own kind of devices, and then they usually just duke it out 1v1 their own. We do have a quote here though, while we go ahead and wait for things to get settled, from Coach RC, of course. From RC, we've been wanting to face F.NOP since the Swiss stage to test our team's strength against the MPL Philippines Season 14 champions. As a Filipino myself, I'm excited for the challenge of competing against a full Filipino team. We hope to give them a good fight and show our surprise pick. Of course, we're aware of their strengths, so we only have about 50% confidence in this matchup. See you guys on the stage. Would you take the 50% confidence?
I think it's more of them not underestimating their opponents. Again, I do agree that it's better for them, of course, if they were able to face up against Fnatic in the group stage. Because even the coach of F.onic Philippines, Coach Wynot, he also mentioned that the Swiss stage was actually, it's like, it exposes the teams. It makes you question if you're really good, because it's all best of ones. And for Coach RC, I know he's excited to go up against F.onic Philippines to test their strength. Luckily for him, even if they lose a couple of games, there's still a chance for them to come back, because again, it's a best of 5 series. A lot of room for them to show the surprise picks they are bragging about.
I think the surprise picks they have been happening, you know, throughout M6 so far. Either way though, we saw that video package yesterday alone where the lower bracket run, man. You know, if a team gets sent down to the lower bracket, we've seen this before where they make that, what they call it, the lower bracket buff. The lower bracket run, where they eventually get to the grand finals and then, you know, end up becoming champions there if they can. But I think either way, you know, you work with this. And here you go. Okay. Good luck with it. That's the support chest, I believe, right? Hey, good luck.
Good luck, let's see.
What's he get?
I'm not sure. Okay, he's going
Actually,
for one more.
He's just spending it all. This is another way you guys can level up your M6 pass right now. Right, he's going.
Going for the level 75.
I would hit max.
Let him take his time. It adds to the suspense, okay? You still got around, how many is that more? Around 5, 6 draws?
5, 6 draws. He's got about 200 diamonds left.
Oh, 300 XP? Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Level up that pass while you can. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think once we eventually get to this game, that's where you have to see. If Falcon Esports, if they get the advantage early on, I think we might actually see, because have we seen F.onic Philippines really struggle? I mean, at all M6, if we think about it, you know, and a team to go into this and kind of say, you know, you do obviously respect a team that is, most people would say, tournament favorite now up to this point. You know, so you got to approach it with a certain kind of mindset, I feel like, and if that's 50% confidence, but also you're just kind of respecting on what the fact that F.onic has done to all the teams they've played at this point, that's the best thing you can do.
I think it also goes the same way for Falcon Esports. Again, just looking back at who they faced up, who they brought down. F.onic Philippines, they can't also underestimate this emerging team in Falcon Esports. And going back to your major point a while ago, if a team like Falcon Esports can match up the intensity, the pace, the tempo of F.onic Philippines, that's going to be put into question for game number 1. But the thing that I'd like to highlight also is what Leo has been saying.
What do you say?
That King Kong has been transitioning slowly to some sort of a utility jungler. I mean, for the first half of the respective MPL, we've been seeing King Kong use the Fannies, the Lings, the highly mechanical assassin players. But right now, he's been resorting to a Suyo that has an impure rage for added sustain. Now the Fredrin, giving a lot of time for Super Friends and for Killer to shine up, stack up, and be the main course of their team. So it's going to be a question of, it's not going to be a question of if you can match F.onic Philippines tempo. It's going to be about, oh, it is that.
I was gonna say, I'm waiting for you.
It is that nice, dude.
It is that. But here's the thing.
No, but the thing is it going to be a high fast-paced tempo that you're going to be matched up with? But looking at this right now, it's a Fredrin. We all know the Fredrin has sustainability. It's more sustained, more controlled. So you don't know what type of aggression F.onic Philippines will be releasing now.
If it's anyone, man, it's King Kong that's going to be the aggressive Fredrin. You know, like, he might be able to go ahead and pull that off if that's the plan. It really, for a lot of people that have been watching up to this point, especially Swiss stage, you know, Fredrin, you automatically think of mlbb, of course, found success with it and made it work. But this time that it's going to be in the hands of King Kong, and I think we are going to be getting a glimpse at King Kong here. Is his playstyle and how he likes to go ahead and utilize even these utility junglers. You know, just looking at here, whether it's the Joy, whether it's this Fredrin, whether it's the Suyo, he has a certain playstyle. And I think that aggression, but it's also what a lot of people would call it is just this kind of calculated aggression that teams haven't been able to tame him. You haven't been able to tame this guy in the jungle just yet. And I feel like every single time a team does approach F.onic, that's one thing on that box of the multiple boxes that they have to check off.
Yeah, and not to mention Super Friends, apart from King Kong, has also been popping off. Right now, for the side of Falcon, PX7 has the Farsa, but yesterday it was actually Super Friends who first used the Farsa, popped off with a feathered airstrike, became a menace up against their opponent's SRG for this specific game. And just looking at King Kong with the Joy, and how will the question is, how will you tame the beast in his own jungle?
I don't know, man. You got to be able to tame it. No, go with the max.
Okay, he's going with the max. He's going with the nice Sue style.
Okay, 20. We're doing
20.
half. How much XP is this? We got to look really
Oh, it's
closely.
Delar.
It's Delar. Hey, what's that? 5,000 XP?
I can't do quick math, bro. let's ask Delar.
Good luck, Delar. Last one.
Last one, go.
Oh. Danny got 7,000 XP. Hey, we're going back to the game. Congratulations for all the XP. And now we can catch back up. Again, only a minute into this. So nothing too crazy just yet. I'm not sure also if we got a glimpse of the emblems, but maybe we get a picture at that. We can see them here. King Kong did go Concussive Blast with the Fredrin. He is going to be up against Dax running that Temporal Rain. This is the typical thing we've seen from the Joys here. But also with this, again, it's Royal Milk. I think if anything for F.onic to deal with, it's not letting Royal Milk have that kind of similar experience he had on the Phobius yesterday, where he was just had a massive game in his favor.
Yeah, again, he started out strong with 707, looking at the emblem set. Okay, so King Kong's really good. Oh, Dax! First it down, Bruiser was just busy looking at the emblems, and Dax, it all happened in a flash. Took down the Bruiser with one electrifying beats.
That's how fast it can happen, especially with a Joy across from you. So now Turtle's up. F.onic's going to start this up. They do have the advantage, and it's quickly going to go down. So they are going to just trade this out. King Kong will secure that. But look at the moves here from Falcon Esports. Dax trying to take the purple. Might get cut off here, not able to go and secure it.
Oh, here comes Kelra, and the kick also getting gacked up by 4. And that's the trade F.onic Philippines went with. They got the turtle plus a shutdown onto Dax.
So they get that, they make it work. Now possibly looking for more. Royal Milk also here in the mid lane, but holding it down once again. Objective secured for F.onic, and that's what they're probably going to focus on the most. That's why they also have the Fredrin. And just the amount of pure utility they have, man. That's, I think, one of the biggest obstacles in this game one that they have to overcome. Here we go again. Now taking a look at the emblems. Look at all the quantum charges here for F.onic. Of course, plus the 2 concussive blasts to help with that clear speed, but tanky enough to sustain a lot of the damage. We'll see if it works out. Kid X.
Implosion, Sacred Hammer gonna connect with Super Prince, making sure Kirk is safe with the Nether Realm, but that's one major resource expended by F.onic Philippines. So far, Kid X still a good catch.
This is what I was saying, though. It's all about getting through that utility. I mean, we're talking about a Matilda and a Feramis. A combination that, you know, you got to have a lot of things to throw at that, just the utility alone to go and overcome it. And then on top of this is withstanding these setups from Kirk. I mean, a lot of times lately we've seen Cho just going in the roam, you know, and playing that. Here we go.
This is the aggression we were all talking about F.onic Philippines zoning out once again. Kid X now gonna transition onto the top lane, gonna try and get down energy shields, zoning out Benny, but here comes PX7 though with the wings by wings.
They're gonna get some extra gold here for Kelra, working on that turret, nearly half down now. Turtle's gonna be up shortly here, so we'll see how they rotate through this. Royal Milk still holding down the bottom side alongside Kirk. They'll go ahead and just duke it out a little bit as the rest of the team gets in position. I'm wondering, does Falcon Esports actually want to contest this, or do they let it go? They might have to rely on Kid X setup potential. He's got the implosion ready as well as the flicker. There they go.
Okay, here comes the Shadow Stampede, but Royal Milk goes in with the Infernal Pursuit. Implosion gonna connect, paired up with the Feathered Airstrike, but Super Prince once again with the Nether Realm. That's going in from the backline, but then like the Flying Beast gonna bring down King Kong, but Royal Milk wants more. Gets 2, a double with the Infernal Pursuit. No, make it 3. Kirk answers with a kick. Kelra gonna feed him off. Double also for Kelra. But Falcon Esports, they won that trade, and they got 4 kills plus this turtle.
It's looking like Royal Milk again gets the triple kill. All that under the tier 1 turret too. A great fight from Falcon Esports, and that'll also get them a turtle. So they've got that fight in them, and F.onic now has to adjust from that. You know, it was a great initiation at the start, and they responded well, but then they just get collapsed out, and that's what the Phobius does.
Yeah.
He allows you to just go ahead and get the airtime with the Infernal Pursuit and just dunk on people, turret or not. And so Kelra nearly getting that tier 1 turret up on the top side. He's going to be fine. Guiding Winds out. Dax will get his first item locked in now. Starlium Scythe. Glowing Wand also for PX7. Some of these first items already coming into play.
Okay.
Mid lane though.
Energy Eruption gonna try and poke down Kid X, so he doesn't have the health to zone out the members of F.onic Philippines. And looking at the previous clash, apart from what Royal Milk did, we have to commend again the mid duo of Kid X and PX7, but we have to commend Brusco because he goes in with the Guiding Wind. Woo! And now saves Kelra. That was 2 objectives, resources expended by Falcon Esports. On the other hand, Royal Milk here trying to zone out Super Prince. Kirk, will we see a kick? And it connects.
There's the kick. They're going to find the target. Kid X out of the picture.
And now their next target is Royal Milk Super Prince. Clutch Netherrealm once again to out-sustain the damage of Falcon Esports. And this time, no trade for Falcon.
You see the amount of utility that we're talking about. Oh, Benny could be in trouble.
Oh, use up the red. He still has the Purify, but here comes the Sarcling Eagle bringing King Kong with him. And bang, bang, boom, Benny goes down.
Benny nowhere to run. Not going to be able to get away from that. Again, this pressure that is put on with the utility, whether it's a Guiding Wind, whether it's a Nether Realm, it's so much mobility that F.onic wants to play around with, that Falcon Esports is going to have to adjust from it. But still, you have to take a look. Jungle's doing fine. Dax is there. PX7 will go ahead and clear out the wave with the Feathered Airstrike, and now Turtle up. Last one in the game. 1 for 1 for both teams. Still, Falcon Esports can choose to fight this. They're going to keep Benny up on that top side, possibly trading if they can. Royal Milk will go ahead and just hold this front side. Uh-oh. Hold on. They got to watch out, though. Kirk on the hunt for this, too. Still, this could be a full-on fight. 5 versus 4 here. They're gonna force Kid X back. Dax might try to jump in. Gets, oh no, he's in trouble.
Oh, the kick flicker combination from Kirk to take down Dax. And now they're gonna get a turtle, but Benny answers back with a turret top takedown. Now, Fnatic Onic Philippines, they're in a roll, in full control. King Kong used up his retribution to force PX7 to use the flicker and wings by wings. Fnatic Onic Philippines holding to a 1.7k gold lead.
Good push from Benny. At least they got something out of it, but Fnatic getting a whole lot in this. They're gonna drag Kid X.
Shadow Stampede forced to use the Sacred Hammer for Kid X to walk away. And now the thing is, the thing that's happening right now, Falcon Esports, although they were able to get previous trades during the first 4 or 5 minutes, it wasn't the proper target. I mean, looking at the composition of Fnatic Onic Philippines, they're gonna feed all the resources to Kelra because he's gonna be the main win condition of Fnatic Onic Philippines. And if you keep him alive, even if Brusco falls down, King Kong falls down, Kirk falls down, it doesn't matter as long as the gold standard is alive for Fnatic Onic.
And that's what I'm wondering for Falcon Esports. Just with everything that they have available, going against even the 3 Purifies alone, and then we've all seen it before, how Kelra positions himself. The reason why he is called the gold standard is something that they want to be able to go and solve. And looking at the items, you know, they are falling behind in the gold lane here. King Kong, tanky enough, confident enough to go and just fight for this purple buff. Might force out, the red trees goes in. Gonna be fine though, they do kind of disengage, keeping Kid X at bay here. Not sure if Falcon Esports actually wants to take a fight. They're just kind of slowly whittled down.
Yeah.
Even with the Ghost Bursters alone, the turret finally falls. Kelra working on it. Now for the tier 2. The focus here, they might force a fight. Kelra, the damage!
One
Benny!
more! So Kelra gets a kill onto Benny. The next target is Royal Milk Infernal Pursuit. He's gonna bring that one with him, but Kelra says, I'm gonna take 2 and bring them down. Fnatic Onic Philippines transitions to the middle lane.
Again, Kelra now under the turret. The tier 2 is in trouble. PX7 is gone.
The aggression of the Super Family, I mean, all throughout the game. They're grouping up, finding kills. Even if you look at the lineup, Falcon Esports, they have a good counter initiation with Kid X with the implosion, but the problem is, he's having a hard time sending because Kelra has proper targeting. The main damage dealers of Falcon Esports are falling apart even before Kid X has an opportunity to cast his ultimate.
My goodness, the amount of damage that Kelra has right now, as we saw just from that glimpse, as Lord is secured now for F.onic. You know, what is he at? House Claws, he's got the Berserker's Fury, he's just got the Rose Gold Meteor Dog, he's got, you know, Malefic Gun too. He's got all the space in the world to work with. And so with this, Falcon Esports falling further behind in this game 1, they're gonna have to go ahead and get ready for a defense against this Lord push. You still have that wave pushing up top alongside Kirk into that tier 2 as they get ready. They might have to pull a miracle play out here with Kid X. If they can get things set up, King Kong on this side of the jungle.
Okay, Dax still gets his purple buff. And here comes the force. Fnatic Onic Philippines will take down Royal Milk once again. They have a Lord marching in the mid lane. You know, looking at the game, it's not a good game to be a Farser right now because the dive composition of Fnatic Onic Philippines is just too much. I mean, you have Cho, you have Matilda, even King Kong has been diving for Fnatic Onic Philippines, and now they're sieging in with the Lord. PX7 casts his Feathered Airstrike, but has to cancel it right away because of the threat Fnatic Onic Philippines has.
Looking to close the game out, still with the Lord marching in. Falcon Esports has to go ahead and defend. They're getting whittled down. They will take care of the Lord, though, so that might be all they get. F.onic still waiting for the rest of the waves to push in. They want the rest of the base turrets, but now in full force, Falcon Esports. Can they hold on to the base? The shields are gonna pop. Kelra just taking a couple shots there. Look at the damage on Royal Milk alone. And there they go, still trying to end it here.
Oh, the implosion is their last effort, but Super Friends once again save the Super Family for the Nether Realm. But here comes the counterattack coming in from Falcon Esports, gonna bring down King Kong. One member down for Fnatic Onic Philippines, but they're gonna transition up top and try to bring down another target like a Kelra! Even on the face of 4 members of the Falcons!
He's going
on phase, wants to go for more, gets the double, Kurt gets the kick, beats Kelra with the triple. Is this gonna be a main? The air! Kelra wins it for Fnatic!
The gold standard will go in with a cleanup and a maniac. 11:40 a game for Fnatic Onic Philippines to start the best of 5. Can the Falcons rise higher than this? That is the question, because what a game, what a performance from F.onic.
The Super Family again showing, extending their dominance even up against Falcon Esports. Kelra picks up a Maniac, and they have a comfortable lead in this best of 5 series with a 1-0.
Ooh, again, amazing performance. I know our panel wants to go ahead and break this down a little further. What do you guys think about game one?
From where we come from, they call that a lightning round. In just 11 minutes and 40 seconds, F.onic Philippines walks away with the dub. Given this is a best of 5, what a way to set the tone, gentlemen. Wheezy, it's your first time on the M6 stage. How's that for you?
Explosive, right? I mean, I kind of expected the Mathilda to come out there, but I didn't expect the Faramis to be alongside it. But having the double support, it seems like the mission was protect the president, trust in Kelra, and he got the job done.
Yeah, you know, you think it's hard to kill Kelra, right? It's already very tough, but you add a Mathilda that stands behind him nonstop, you add a Colt Alter, and it is literally impossible at this point. I don't know how you break through that right there. Kelra wasn't even in Protect the President mode. He was in King, I'm gonna hold the front line mode. I mean, he was leading the attack half of those fights.
Homie was straight up Rob Stark, King of the North. Let's go ahead and check out the stats here. What did that game look like by the numbers? Again, 16-6. Kelra 9-0-5. Just barely finishing his build, by the way.
Yeah, that's so average 3-item build. Just to like break it down for an average 3-item build is about 8-9 minutes. 8-7 minutes, you're doing very, very well. 9-10 minutes is probably like average time. You're maybe getting to your 4th. This man was maxed out. We're talking maxed out, 11 minutes, 40 seconds.
6 slots.
And he got 6 slots filled, probably around 11-minute mark, I'm sure. You know, maybe a little after 11 minutes, but still, that is insanity. I mean, that is just, there was no catching up to that.
He put the gold in gold standard.
He put the gold in gold standard.
Yeah, I mean, even with the itemization, right? When we see the Brunos go in for the Haas Claws, Berserk Sphere, then the Malefic Gun, he did it in a little bit different of an order, right? He went to Haas Claws, and then he goes straight into the Malefic Gun. He's playing not only for the survivability, but also able to attack from afar to sustain himself. And that's what made him so hard to take down 9-0-5.
Let's talk about the build on King Kong because your pride and joy, the heart and soul of NA, Mobazane made Fredrin a pick again, a legit pick, and look at that. King Kong, his 3rd hero, was the Fredrin. It's built a little different.
Yeah, he definitely went for a bit more of a tanky build there. We saw Mobazane sometimes go for the Thunderbelt.
That's right.
Instead, and Mobazane still did the same thing, half a molten core. There were some other games where he didn't, and you could see the slowness in the jungle. So King Kong picks up the molten core, picks up the helm, picks up a little the Athena shield just in case PX7 gets out of control, just in case Dox gets out of control. And instead of going for the Radiant armor, I really like the Athena shield because it's that security against PX7.
And it's that big booty, the HP. Like, you just get it, and it amplifies everything else the Fredrin does. Let's talk about Falcon Esports this time around. The way they drafted, the way they built their lineup, it's nothing we haven't seen before, especially from them. It's the core on the Joy early on, PX7 and Artillery Mage, sandbagging on Royal Milk early to mid, and then you're waiting for Benny, which was unfortunate. Benny never really got online.
Man, I was wondering what the damage was going to look like, right? Especially over there for Kelra. 80,000 damage, skyrocketing over everybody else on the board. I mean, you had a couple of members, 1, 2, maybe even 3 members from Falcon.
3 is safe.
3 is safe.
Yep, add up all their damage, and that's Kelra's alone.
And you know, Falcon started off well. Dox got that early kill, but then it was immediately traded back. And they get the kill on the Brusco, but then Dox goes down. And from that point, it just felt like F.onic was like, all right, fine, we're going to press the gas now. And you look at FCon's composition, you look at this carry, you look at this Sparza. All of these heroes need about 3 items to really pop off. And they just couldn't get there. And when they did get there, F.onic was already so defensive and so aggressive, there was no turnaround.
And is it just me, or is Falcon's lineup too honest for what F.onic is doing? It's too clear that, hey, this is where the damage is coming from, this is the power spike in early to mid, and then we fight for inevitability. F.onic did not allow for any of that.
You know, it's just textbook, right? Sometimes going with the simpler method breeds better results, and F.onic, right? Trusting in the damage of Kelra. Everybody else, I mean, we were even looking at the emblems. Very sustainable, very mobile. but no damage. It was only Kara the one dishing out that damage, and they just trusted in that Haas Claws, that Berserker's Fury, and that Malefic Gun to rise to the occasion. Speaking of Kara, there he is himself, that big old smile, ready to lead the way for Fnatic Onyx.
The gold standard is our MVP for game number 1. Screenshot this right now. This is how you build and this is how you play a Bruno.
Yeah, I even love the fourth item. RGM, Rose Gold Meteor. And so a lot of people would save that for last, and that becomes your juggle item. But it just goes to show Kelroy was playing so aggressive in that matchup, and I'm sure when we see some of these MVP highlights, we'll see it how he was in the front line. He always had Brusco behind him. He always had the Cult Altar ready to go. And then just to pick that up as your fourth item shows that, listen, I'm going to get aggressive, man. I'm 8-0-5 right now. I'm 9-0-5. I'm going to get in your face and just be that guy.
Hey, got Rose Gold, dog.
He's got Rose Gold, dog.
If anybody knows what that is,
yeah,
it's us from North America.
Rose Gold,
right?
dog.
Hey, man, a great game for Kelra. Now the question is, how does Falcon respond?
We'll see here in the highlights how Kelra went behind enemy lines, in their face, and around these choke points to be able to kick balls straight into Falcon Esports' face. Something to note, you'll see here the positioning of Brusco constantly being close to the back line so that Kelra would have a pull out. You have Super Prince, who's about in the middle of all that to make sure that there's reliable damage from the Ghost Bursters. Where does this put Kirk and King Kong?
I mean, this puts Kirk and King Kong essentially wherever they want to be. But King Kong normally holding front line, looking for angles, looking for those taunts, right? Looking for anything to buy that little bit of time. And look at King Kong here as well, kind of looking for the back, putting pressure, just in case Benny did try to get away there. He was there to catch him. There was zero escape for Benny, even if he gets past Kelra. And then these are the big mistakes we start seeing from Oil Melt, going a little overextended. And towards the end here, Kelra just consistently holding the front. Brusco never even engages.
See, that's the challenge, though, when you run the Phobias, right? As soon as you go with the Infernal Pursuit, you're in the middle of the battle. There's no way out. Yeah, you're in the thick of it. And when there's that much sustainability that you have to go against, it's very hard to deal the damage necessary to get to the backline, to get to Kelra, the target that they were looking for.
And as sound as that is, Falcon Esports may have made it work against other teams, other powerful teams here in M6, but against Fnatic Onyx, especially if you give them this Faramis and Matilda duo, there has to be more in the tank. Ladies and gentlemen, the ROG Phone 9 is the official gaming phone of M6. Unleash unmatched gaming performance with the ROG Phone 9 Pro, a mobile masterpiece that seamlessly blends high-powered gaming with a sleek, modern aesthetic.
That's how Kelra's so good.
Yeah, no,
he uses the ROG.
Yeah, literally, the technology, the hardware is what also allows for Kelra to play like that. So now back to the drawing board. Let's talk about what Falcon Esports could do to maybe force, you know, an equal score here. 1-1 real quick. Was it the draft? Was it the execution?
Hey, it was the first pick on Bruno, and we've been asking the question the entire M6 series, right? Is it worth the ban?
The Bruno definitely worth the ban, but they got put in such a weird spot. F.onic drafted that first phase so well, leaving the Bruno or the Suyo open. It's like, listen, I'm gonna put this in your hands. And what a lot of red sides would do is normally it's we're gonna ban something else, leave both of those picks open, so at least we get something in response. And then they don't do that. Okay, you give over the Bruno, but then they kind of also FCon went for a little bit of comfortability. They immediately slot in the Phobius, which is essentially should probably be more of a counter play, a counter pick. So I think FCon, get out of that comfort zone. Game one's over. It's time to kick things into gear.
More in what Falcon Esports could do here about the Fnatic Onyx experience, but let me remind y'all about the M6 lucky draw from the 18th of November to the 29th of December. Participate in the M6 lucky gift. Join the draw for a chance to win Claude's new epic skin, Challenger's Flare, and Beatrix's new M4 epic painted skin, Lightseeker.
Lightseeker. That sounds insane.
Yeah. You don't want to miss the rare opportunity to get Beatrix's M4 exclusive skin. And as well, check out MCGG, a multiplayer strategy game now soft launched in Malaysia and Singapore. Hats Magic Chest Go Go. Pre-registration now underway for other APAC regions. No need for fast fingers. Strategy unlock are your keys to victory. Team up with your favorite heroes and strategize with friends wherever, whenever. Put your strategies to the test, outsmart your opponents, and claim the ultimate victory. I'm a Magic Chess OG since 2020 January, baby.
I like
And he is too, though. He's
Yeah.
been playing Magic Chess for a while.
This is a long time coming.
Who wins? You guys go up against each other? Magic Chess?
You want to catch the 1v1, bro?
Oh, I'm the Scarlet Shadow God. That's what they call me. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's right, the Hanabi Hayabusa.
I do actually. Scarlet Shadow, yeah.
That's
yeah.
some pretty OG
You get like a
synergies.
special skill from it. As long as you have both, they both get a special skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of those smaller.
I don't think that's gonna be in Go-Go.
Hey, you don't know. Season per season, you don't know. They may bring it back. If your boy asks for it enough, maybe they put it back in.
I tell you what, we need an M series just for Magic Chess.
Caster MC Go-Go tournament.
Little Birdie told me there might be something in the works.
Little esporty stuff.
We'll talk about this later, but
I'd
now
gladly come to Southeast Asia for that.
back into the matchup here. F.onic first on the board, 1-0. Luckily for all the Burmese fans, this is a best of 5, so we're just getting started. F.onic, they did about 99% of that matchup correct. Falcon Esports, more on that. Wheezy, riddle me this. Draft-wise, what could Falcon Esports do better besides what our good old friend here, Herbert Wagner, shared?
Well, number one, take out the Bruno if you don't have a plan for
Just
it.
out of the form.
Out of it completely. Definitely don't want that to walk. Especially, I mean, look at their composition, right? They had a Mathilda and a Faramis. They had a lot of sustainability just to keep them alive. The whole goal was just to protect Kelra that entire game on the Bruno. And as soon as those 3 items came in, right? The Hawk's Claws, the Berserker's Fury, and the Malefic Gun, there was no way to stop him. I mean, we've seen teams pull out something like the Beatrix. Maybe the carry came out. And that was a little bit of a shocker to me, right? I didn't think the carry was going to be the pick there. I thought maybe something, we even discussed it, right? A Claude, something a little bit more survivability. But yeah, just the pressure in the gold lane is yet to be matched for F.onic.
Talking about that draft, it looks like they were drafted into a corner, and it's this man right here that's responsible for the situation right now. It's the teams themselves. We'll be hearing more about why not in just a bit. The head-to-head here. Fewer games played by F.onic, better results overall, but I did not expect the numbers to be this clean. To be this close, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit of skew. The win rate still favoring FNOP. Average turret, FCOM, but we're still just getting started in this knockout stage. And you do have to also think about this as FNOP had a pretty early exit out of Swiss stage, whereas Falcon played a few more games, had a bit more time to bump up those points. So I think overall, you know, we're looking at it. It's fair.
You know, and not to mention, you got to look at who they win against as well, right? Falcon hit down or burst down some heavy hitters. They took down Aurora.
Oh, I
and
remember.
they also took down
Yeah.
SRG.
And
Aurora.
Oh, come on, man. It's too soon. It's too soon.
who else did they take out?
We'll let...
We're not gonna say it. All right, cool.
So,
They took out BTK.
these stats are rolling. These stats are growing. And as we move forth through M6, you'll see that things are just looking better and better for F.onic. I think it's time for Falcon to bring out the bigger guns. Maybe it's their turn to, again, in an effort to change the tides and change the momentum, bring out something new. Would y'all agree that maybe it's time to go deep and maybe show us the lights of the Roger?
I mean, it's definitely doable. My only worry is against a team like FNOP, I wonder how things like that are going to do. You know, I just feel like they're such a grounded team that it is very hard to, it's very hard to disrupt their flow. But again, that could be the fear that's in all of our minds. So it's like, that's why they don't do it. So maybe they just should. I mean, like I said, you have 5 games here. If it goes the distance, you have at least 2 more games, you know? So maybe it's time for that.
At least. That is bare minimum. Falcon Esports here, up against the ropes. I'm wondering what Coach Nyo Chow and Coach Arce are talking about behind the scenes, because it's Coach Why Not in the other room, staying ahead of the competition. They want to learn about what happened to Aurora. They fell short, and it's no longer just about the Philippines, but about the world. every region has leveled up their game. There are other strong teams in M6. It's not just them, and it's up to them to make sure they stay one step ahead. They're very self-aware.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I mean, right now, they're the only Filipino team left in the M Series, so they got a lot of pressure on their backs right now, right? They have to hold that flag high and sail through the M Series, and so far, they have yet to disappoint. Now, how long can they keep that momentum up? As we get higher up this ladder and the elevation rises, teams are going to start dropping.
All right, talking about elevation, are you trying to get at what I think you are? Are you saying that Falcon Esports is just heating up? Falcon Esports is just getting there, and game one was a gauge, a test? Because looking at the draft again, save for that carry, I agree with y'all, save for that carry, it looked like it was very Falcon comfortable. It was just like, heroes we've played before, heroes you've seen. Is that a good sign? Is that a sign of weakness or more of just, you know, like an opening chess gambit?
I think they're going to spread their wings. I think it's about time to see that. We've seen it
Right
happen.
now.
Yeah, it could happen. Could happen. I don't doubt anymore. I mean, there's times even in NACT when we thought things weren't going to happen and the world was surprised. And if I've learned anything from watching the M Series, it's been full of surprises and full of upsets. So as we get to game two, we'll have to see where it goes.
Yeah. And for the Falcon fans out there, I think you got to be hoping that that was just a stretch, right? That was the warm-up. That was, let's get our thumbs ready for game two, you know, crack some knuckles. And now we're in a place where let's push things a little bit. And a lot of that's going to come down to the coaches, right? With the way we saw draft last game, I think coach is going to be extremely important into this. But we do have a head-to-head between Kelra and Benny.
Okay, so far, it's clear that the numbers don't lie. Kelra, above and beyond. The question is, what do y'all see in Benny that might be the game changer? What can he do against the Filipino Savage, against the gold standard? Because numbers-wise, you can't beat Kelra.
I think it's you're in a spot where maybe the goal isn't to exactly beat Kelra.
Homie's
to find the cracks in the rest of the team, right?
Homie's a 5-time MVP in M6 so far. Top one. Oh, behind him is Aaron, Shiggy, and Skylar, 4 apiece. So, with that said, Benny must be looking at that like, not toe-to-toe, not up front.
This is the goal. It's gold lane supremacy right now, and Kelra definitely sits at the top of that pedestal.
You know, it's funny with Benny, they say he's like the best Bruno out in Myanmar. So maybe if he gets the Bruno in his hands, it could be the difference. But as we are now jumping into the draft for game number 2 in this best of 5 for knockout stage, day 2. And we see Falcons rise to the occasion and even out this series.
All right, opening up, it's Falcon Esports on the play. F.onic answering back. A respect for Brusco's Matilda. And it's just another day in the office for F.onic, banning out the usual Fanny and Jushin.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple overall. My guess is F.nop once again is going to force F.con into some sort of trade. Now, F.con taking a page out of F.nop's book and banning out the Granger, and now this time F.onic have that choice between the Suyo or the Bruno, but I don't think they're going to ban either, man. I think they're willing to throw the trade out. They are comfortable enough to be like, fine, pick which one do you want, man?
Exactly.
Because we're going to get 2 powers back. Hilda's still open. Cho's still open. So many options, and they ban out the Hylos. So now F.con is in the sticky situation once again. This is what F.con was supposed to do last game.
Yep, and F.nop made it happen from blue, red this time. They did it blue, now it's in red. They go, ooh, all right. They get the Bruno, and now F.nop can go Suyo X, Suyo Hilda.
Suyo Hilda, Suyo whatever, honestly.
But it puts Falcon in a good situation, right? Like we said, Benny's definitely comfortable on this Bruno, but F.onic, not going to waste any time. 2 heavy hitters, the Cho and the Joy.
And the Joy has been known to do very well against the Suyo. It can win out in the 1v1s. We've seen so many junglers win out against the Suyo. It's one of the few junglers right now who can go to like toe-to-toe in terms of just 1v1. So now F.con has to think maybe they don't pick the Suyo. Maybe they go for something like the Alpha. Bovius again. This one looks a little better against the Joy and the Cho.
Yep.
So maybe it's not complete comfort, but at least it looks good.
So in the first phase alone, I can say that Falcon Esports are again hedging on Royal Milk. A lot of their big wins in Swiss, and even in the opening day of knockout, was off of Royal Milk popping off. So far, it's looking like Falcon Esports have that, at least in the first phase. The Monster Mage picks up the Farsa once more. I like this against the Phobius.
Well, we yet to see what's going to be the response in the gold lane, though, right? I mean, we see the Bruno picked up from Benny. There's been a couple of different marksmen that have rose to the occasion. With the Granger being off the table, you still have the Moskov. You still have the Natan.
The Layla.
Doing really good. The Layla.
We saw it from Keller before against the Bruno.
That's right.
I'm just saying, we can't count Keller out.
No.
I'm not even worried about his gold pick because it doesn't really feel like it matters that much. Like, he'll make ends meet with whatever you give him.
Exactly. Now, how hilarious would it be, but just as well, very justified, that Falcon bans the Bea and the Layla, and then they allow the fair pick of the Moskov.
You know, it'd be funny to see F.onic pick up the glue. You know, especially, you could technically put in the XP lane up against the Phobius and
That's
just
right.
let the Cho
does well against it.
run the roam position, and honestly, it'd be a really good pickup here considering the Cho's single target. Well, I guess not single target CC, but it's not as easily able to control the majority of the map. So I think that would be an excellent pickup.
Now, if that happens, I don't think I'd like to see the Layla, because there's nobody protecting you. That's two dive type of frontliners, and Keller is left alone. Keller's good, but not, you know, no peel good.
I'm on the mind of F.con jungle right now. And Alpha's gone. Suyo is open, but I think F.Not wants them to go Suyo.
They'd rather
I'm
hit
almost
Suyo.
looking last, slot 5. They go for maybe an assassin here. Maybe it's time to bring out something like that, the Haya, something along those lines. We know they have that type of jungler in their kit, and it could be troublesome for the Farsa and the rest of the team.
But the stats say Suyo has a better score over Joy. Is
I haven't
Fnatic
seen the 1v1.
exactly? Is F.onic the one to say, you know what? You don't know the beast. You don't know the Sigma jungler. You haven't seen him mewing, looks maxing, Ohio fan attacks. You haven't. So maybe they'll allow that. And that's exactly what they're saying here.
I mean, they can go for it, and it will work. I mean, it can work. It's pretty much whoever gets the first few kills, right? From what we've seen, we saw yesterday, we saw Joy win out sometimes. We saw the Suyo win out. Whoever scales a bit quicker is gonna win out.
Yeah, right now you are seeing that Claude picked up. It's going to have a little bit of that survivability working inside of Kelra's favor. I mean, he was already hard to kill before, right? But now it's going to be even more challenging. Not to mention, he should be able to soak in to the more tankier composition with that Phobius and that Tig on the other side.
And there's the Suyo. Confirmed. You still need a mid laner. What does BX7 pick up here? His Vex is open.
Vex is open.
Eve is open
Eve
too.
is still open. We saw the Eve Tig from F.Not yesterday, and it did wonderful together. They could go for something like a root. Oh no, they still need a mid. Vex.
Oh,
They go for the Pheromones this time. But against the Claude, against the Farsa, against the Joy, it's a little scary. They're picking that into multiple counters.
Well, they can go the glue. I would have said Vexana just for the fact if you could deny the glue from
Yeah, but
F.onic.
glue gets hard countered.
You're gonna
by
get
the
blown
Pheromones.
up.
Yeah, you're gonna get blown up. Pheromones destroy.
Oh, true.
Glue.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Keep it simple. Put Kirk on the Edith.
did you see
That's
Kirk
the
last night?
signature.
Did you see
Monstrous.
Kirk last night?
He did not. I'm just kidding.
Monster.
All right, y'all know he didn't die. So, with that said, let's throw it over to our casters. Calling game number 2. Nice doing, Ian. Let's go.
Hey, you know who saw Kirk last night? We did. And everybody else saw Kirk's performance, but also Phobius and Benny's Bruno this time around, man. I gotta say, it was an electrifying game 1, but this draft this time for Falcon Esports, is it gonna be enough to take them into the series and even it out 1-1 again?
You know, I do have to agree with Trex, man. You picked up the Faramis up against the Farsa and the Claude, natural counters of the Faramis. They're just gonna burn through the Netherrealm, but they'll still see how Falcon will respond to F.onic.
They've got to respond. They both have comfort picks leading into this game. And really, when it comes down to it, you got to be able to contain the lightning. That is F.onic Philippines. We'll see if Falcon can soar high. Game number 2, jumping to the land of Dawn. It breaks down to this. Dax and King Kong in the jungle. This time Dax, also a pick that he loves to take into the games. We'll see how he answers mid lane. It gets a lot of action early on, especially when we see the Cho in play. And this time, they'll try to secure the buffs and the early rotations. But Egon, anything sticking out so far emblem-wise for you when we get a preview of it?
Not so much. It's just that Dax, again, resulted to the Impure Rage. So you know that he wants to go for the sustain. Not so much about the attack, but looking at Kelra. Unfazed, unbothered. Quantum Charge, Master Assassin.
Yeah.
He wants to go aggressive in the gold lane.
This is what I love about Kirk, too. Kirk loves the Warcry emblem on the Edith. There's a reason why he gets so many kills when he does pick it. Such a comfort pick for him, and we've even seen him go to the extent of just taking Lords alone. So, again, something that Falcon Esports wants to go ahead and keep in consideration. A lot of the early poking going back and forth. Brusco loves to be pretty aggressive on the Cho. A King Kong, too, on this side of the jungle.
Oh, Kirk, okay. Earth Shatter Flicker combination. Here comes King Kong. Might be able to take down Dax. Super Friends once again shining for the Super family. They want to extend their lead by trying to go for Royal Milk. But again, Brusco will disengage. That was a huge response coming in from Super Friends.
Big response, PX7. Could be in trouble. Brusco taking a couple of shots. 1 kick, 2 kicks. Gone. Super Friends will pick up the kill.
The aggression of the mid-roam combination paired up with King Kong's fast farming. This was actually what the panel has been saying. In terms of statistic, Suyo has a better win rate compared to Joy, but again, Trek said it's all gonna boil down to who's gonna farm up faster. And so far, King Kong is 1 level ahead of Dax.
I'm wondering how this matchup will play a part. You know, we saw this answer already. Benny, in trouble! The feathered airstrike! Finds the mark, and now the fight for the turtle's gonna break out.
Infernal Pursuit, they're gonna try and work on Kirk. Kirk pops his ultimate, but gets pulled up and hit with the Queller. A trade for Falcon Esports. And now they're gonna transition to the turtle. Let's see how Brusco and Super Friends will react.
They're just gonna give this up. Looks like Falcon Esports will get the objective. They secure the turtle. Meanwhile, though, leave it up to F.onic to find something else where a ton of gold go in the hands of Kelra here as he pushed in. Still, of course, working on that first item. Did get the level 2 boots, though, to help with some of the trades against the Bruno. So he's got that little extra physical defense to go ahead and deal with that, because this is a matchup that, yeah, maybe some people wouldn't like to play in the Bruno. I mean, Bruno, obviously, just massive win rate right now, pick rate as well. But Claude, so much, not so much so. You know, it's specific gold laners and players that really like to utilize this. And Kelra being one of them, actually, we just see a lot of the gold laners from the Philippines like to go for the Claude. And it's always something they can take into consideration later in the game where they split push on the map.
Yeah, and I think that's why F.onic Philippines early rotated up top, because we've been talking about this a while ago, that they normally don't engage in the gold lane, but in this case, since the opposing team has the Bruno and Keller has an unfavorable hero in this squad, they have to work on the gold lane. But right now, Royal Nick with an Infernal Pursuit.
They're gonna go in. Kirk, a little bit of health still left. Will flicker on out defensively. So gonna be just fine. Now still the fight. Gonna disengage both sides, but some battle spells, ultimates used in that exchange. There's the kick though.
And the feathered airstrike. PX7 though with the Nether Realm to try and save Kid X. Brusco forced to use the flicker. So that was still a good initiation, counter initiation for Falcon Esports. They did, however, lose their Nether Realm with this incoming turtle.
Part of this again too is just to be able to contain, you know, allowing your junglers to get the buffs. Now look at King Kong. He can actually go in. Looks like it was taken, so Dax, no purple buff for him.
Yeah. You were just about to say that the junglers need to get their buffs, and King Kong already stole one. 1.2k gold lead for F.onic Philippines, but still Falcon Esports still putting on, trying to control the higher ground in Turtle Pit. They want to go for the neutral objectives as much as possible to try and delay F.onic Philippines' fast rotation. This is how you keep up with the tempo of F.onic. If you can't go for kills, go for those objectives.
They're gonna go for it. Feathered airstrike. There's the kick.
Okay, paired up with a feathered airstrike, a mega kill coming in from Super Friends, but they're gonna answer back by taking down Brusco as well. They have full control over this turtle, but King Kong will make it in time.
I'm not sure if he's gonna get there in time. Dax will get the turtle.
And the Primal Wrath coming in from Kirk, but PX7 goes in with the Nether Realm. Look at King Kong with Electrify.
Oh.
He's gonna take down one more, make it 2. No trade for Falcon. They did, however, get the turtle, but F.onic Philippines will transition in the middle lane.
Benny making his way alongside Dax. They will hold on to the turret. Benny taking a couple shots, but it's Kelra now taking that, but he's gonna be fine. And meanwhile, down the bottom side, King Kong just pushing in. There's the kick.
Oh, and the feathered airstriker reached Kid X, forcing him to use the Sacred Hammer to evade. And again, how many times have we seen King Kong actually don't see it because it's always an off-cam kill on the bottom lane, Naisu.
He's everywhere and anywhere that he needs to be, and it just seems like F.onic continuing on now. Benny could be in trouble.
Okay, there's still no Jeet Kune Do. Okay, it connected, but Benny, okay, we know that Benny is one of the best Bruno players, not just in a specific region, but actually in the whole M6. And now he has to step up, especially when it reached the 16-minute mark where Bruno is really activated, can go for a potential comeback up against Fnatic Philippines. But in order to do that, the rest of the members from Falcon need to step up and try to extend the game to that mark.
This is what F.onic likes to do. They like to play on all fronts, all lanes. You know, feathered airstrike just to go ahead, get that limit test in on Royal Milk. Does get brought down under half health, but he's going to be fine. Essentially, it's Falcon Esports to go ahead and adjust, you know, side of the lanes, top side too, maintain what they can. And like you mentioned, Benny, he needs to get to the point where, you know, he has the space to work with. He can actually go ahead and utilize the setup from Kid X, hopefully later on, and they can even rely on Royal Milk to stay that front side again.
They're gonna easily burst down Kid X right away. Not even a single reaction from Falcon Esports. Now gonna transition up top. They're gonna gank up on Benny.
Benny in trouble. Sliding tackle in. Brusco one hit away. Won't get it. Still alive, and they pick up a kill now on Benny.
Oh, that was a quick response for Fnatic Philippines. They know that their power spike is now super friends with the feathered airstrike paired up with a flicker. Now Kurt goes in with the Earth Chandler PX7 with another realm, but it's not gonna out-sustain the damage. Kelra goes in with a blazing duet. That's gonna be a double kill for King Kong. And just like that, in your words, Naisu, Fnatic Philippines, they're just too damn good.
Right now, they are charged up and ready to go. They'll get this turtle as well. It is still 2-1 in terms of turtles, but man, every fight that's going right now, it's F.onic that comes out on top of it. They have to be able to take down Super Prince. I mean, we've seen the utilization of the flicker defensively, aggressively, and everything. So Falcon Esports, they want to be able to lock someone down, but who do they get? Because even when you think they're actually going to be able to kind of withstand a forced fight, it's either Kirk or it's Brusco. Every time that flicker is available to Brusco, he's going in, trying to set up a kick here. Now at this point, they'll have to respond to Falcon Esports trying to find up what they can. And when you're looking at the damage, the amount of damage that's being done here, you know, they just need more time to farm up. The fact that they have this fairness in their favor, it's not the same amount of damage burst that comes out from Super Fritz.
You know, at this point, Super... Just really trying to force PX7 to use the Nether Realm right away before they fully commit, but here comes the play. Oh, Jeet Kune Do plus flicker combination, gonna bring down Royal Milk. Infernal Pursuit's not gonna be enough now. Again, gonna transition onto Dax. Will they overcommit though? They don't have minions, and under the turret, they might go for the discipline route and just walk away.
Falcon at this point trying to get what they can across the map. It's probably gonna be this tier 1, but they get the information that you guys might want to back off from that as the rotation comes through from Fnatic PH, and this is what they like to do. Dax in trouble.
Kelra?
Still gonna be fine. Kelra won't dive into that, but they will work on the tier 2 turret now. PX7 joining him up. Not gonna go down just yet, but Super Fritz.
Another air strike, gonna connect onto 2, forcing PX7 and Dax to walk away. Zoning them out, Fnatic Philippines. They're gonna have minions under the middle lane. Are they gonna commit the mid push? Because right now they have a 7.3k gold lead. At this point, you're free to do anything.
Yeah, when you have this kind of lead, it's really... You have to be very careful on how you approach some of these fights. Even into this first Lord, if Falcon Esports approaches it and gets out of place, out of position, I would say even if Kid X gets that implosion set up, again, mind you, they've got a couple of things to work out. There's the kick from Brusco.
Plus the feathered airstrike, forcing PX7 to use the Nether Realm right away. King Kong onto the back line. Whoa! Okay, manages to get an implosion, but Brusco picks up the kill. Royal Milk has to flicker away. Here comes the Fnatic Philippines. Kirk with a primal wrath, but they're gonna answer right back and take that one Fnatic member down.
Oh, Super Fritz.
That's 2 kills for Fnatic Philippines in exchange for Kirk.
He's keeping Dax there. Dax gonna go ahead and regen, but King Kong will jump in. Super Fritz waiting patiently, relying on Benny to come help him out. He wants to clear that way. Oh, there's the feathered airstrike. They're gonna cancel it out so he doesn't get the one last in, and Super Fritz will back off, but they bought themselves enough time to secure the Lord for F.onic. King Kong waits a little bit longer, and there you go. Objective secured.
Fortunately for Falcon Esports, you know, the Faram is actually scared off Super Princess Farsa. That was one more hit to Dax with a feathered airstrike. So Falcon Esports, they did not lose any bodies, but F.onic Philippines, they got the Lord uncontested, and now they're gonna try and make sure the minion waves are managed to try and take down all inhibitor turrets as much as possible with a 9.2k gold lead.
Again, it's a massive lead for them, so Falcon Esports backs against the wall. We saw a preview of the team fight potential. Even if an implosion is set up, they just don't have enough firepower right now. So this main idea might be to get a pick here. King Kong, though, elusive as he is on the joint, will be able to just freely get away. Still waiting for that Lord to push in. So Falcon wants to stay in this game. With this kind of deficit, they've got to be able to pull the holy defense off. A miracle play, if you will. They try to hold on at the tier 2 in the mid. Kirk will jump in, gets the tackle out. Feathered airstrike drop down, and the shields are going to be popping. There's Brusco once again as a threat, looking for the kick. They just get a couple shots in the base turrets as King Kong approaches that bottom wave. But right now, Falcon Esports holding in. This might be the moment, though, as this next powered up wave will push into the base.
Okay, Brusco has the conceal. He does have the flicker. But I think F.onic Philippines, they're not going to overcommit because Falcon Esports made quick work of the mid lane minions and now going to transition onto the top and to the bottom. F.onic Philippines trying to play as disciplined as possible. They can't find the proper angle to penetrate the defense, to penetrate the front line and get to Benny.
Still, give it up to Falcon Esports, even despite being down this much. Hold on to their base turrets, even if it's just barely in the mid lane. Looking at the items, you can see the glaring difference between the gold laners. You know, nearly 3,000 gold difference. And they're able to take a risk because of the fact that Kelra has these items now in the mid lane.
Kid X targets Kirk onto the back line, gonna get ganked up by 5 Super to the rescue, and a feathered airstrike gonna take down Kirk. Once again, F.onic Philippines, King Kong with the electrifying beach, trying to go for the back line, but PX7 with a clutch nether realm, and all the while Kelra just worked on the top lane inhibitor turret, executed flawlessly by Fnatic, but a heads-up play for Kid X for Falcon Esports.
Took them a little bit longer, but they got the 2 base turrets down off of that Lord take. And again, Kelra now picking up the Malefic Roar. As we were saying, the spark difference between the gold laner damage is massive. And so we're looking at another 5+ minutes, really, for Falcon Esports, possibly to get back in fighting form. They might have to go ahead and give up even the next Lord at this point, unless they can somehow get a pick off. And I feel like that's what they've been trying to do, but it just hasn't worked. Because most of the times you have people like, you know, these heroes like the Joy that are just scouting things out, and King Kong can easily get away unless he's locked down properly. Picks up the Divine Glaive himself, so the amount of magic damage being utilized here between him and Super Prince, and even to an extent, Kirk is a massive.
Yeah.
The Lord will be started up. Still looking to make a play up there on the top, trying to get that tier 1 down. Quick work on this Lord take.
Okay, an uncontested Lord for F.onic Philippines and Falcon Esports. They're no longer looking for a trade. I think with their current composition, they can, however, try and clear this, especially if no one gets picked off, and Kid X makes another miracle implosion play, so it's still possible for Falcon Esports to try and turn things around and force the game to the 16-17 minute mark when Benny is going to be activated for their side.
Benny's positioning is what's crucial here. You can still play around the fact that you have a Nether Realm to help you. He's got a little bit of defensive, picks up the Rose Gold Meteor, so he's got that BOD also for Dax on this, possibly the last defense. We'll see how they play apart. F.onic takes the last base turret in, and now walking in slowly with the Lord up front. Taking a couple shots, they still respect the damage that can come out. Benny on the front side, gonna get checked, but they actually defend, even despite the 13k lead right now for F.onic. Not sure if they actually go in further. It looks like they do really want to just be disciplined here because of the fact that they have to respect how much utility is actually there for Falcon Esports.
Yeah, again, they have the Nether Realm, and Kid X can go in anytime with the implosion. So F.onic Philippines, even if they have this huge lead, 12.9k, even if they had the Lord, even if they have damage coming in from Kelra, the utility, the PX7 alone with the Nether Realm is going to be enough for Falcon Esports to out-sustain 2 to 3 seconds worth of damage coming in from F.onic Philippines and eventually enable Benny to just wreak havoc up against Fnatic onic Philippines. Not to mention, he did, however, pick up the Rose Gold meter, as you mentioned, and he does Access Purify. So in terms of positioning, when it comes to those clashes, it's going to be also hard for Fnatic onic Philippines to lock down on Benny.
Sort of surprised, you know, with F.onic, even with the lead that they have, based off even what we saw in game one, how kind of slow they're taking that approach into the base. And part of it really is just because, for example, if one person goes down from F.onic and they overextend into a base push, that's a whole lot of gold going to whoever gets that kill from Falcon Esports. And if it's Benny, obviously he's pretty much there. I mean, he does have the itemization that he needs, still working on the last one. But you can already see it. You know, when they get a preview of the damage, when they're defending, it's there. And a Netherrealm alone is enough. No matter how behind PX7 was, for example, Netherrealm is enough utility and enough value to actually turn base defenses, where we've seen this even in previous competitive games for mlbb before, where a Netherrealm, a clutch timing on it, can keep you into the game. So it's F.onic practicing that disciplined approach. You're still waiting for that Lord to come up. Not really going to be able to find anything from this, so rather just kind of at a stalemate until Falcon Esports gets in that defense mode again.
Yeah, Fnatic onic Philippines could do this by the book. Gonna try and get an uncontested Lord, but looking at the position of the rest of the members of Fnatic onic Philippines, if someone for Falcon Esports tried to get information, get vision, for sure Fnatic onic Philippines won't be afraid to try and dive down and get a burst.
Lord's up here now, so Falcon will just let it get taken. They know that even if they approach towards this, it's going to be gone in an instant, as it is. Another Lord now in the hands of F.onic. This is most likely the one that could end the game. So have they bought enough time earlier on? We did say, you know, Falcon Esports needs about 5 minutes. They got the 5 minutes. They made that work. That was one of the boxes they had to check. Now can they make this a team fight, a defense, to possibly turn the game in its favor? Again, they have, what, no turrets down. So they have to win a base defense and possibly swing towards the base of F.onic. And as they wait for that Lord to approach, F.onic will deal with the ways managing them up. And this is one of the things, you know, Dax himself has good damage on the Suyo, but he's nearly just got to wait for Kid X. If Kid X lands this implosion, it's going to be great, but already Kid X in trouble.
They got spotted out and bursted down. Kid X Immortality will be popped. That's one member down for Falcon Esports, but Kelra actually is not going to mind Kid X anymore. They want to go for the tower push.
Without Kid X, though, can they even win this fight here? They're going to break out.
Okay, they're going to zone out the members of Falcon Esports with a feathered airstrike. They're going to log onto the base and win game number 2 for Fnatic onic Philippines.
And off of questionable positioning, punishing the positioning mistake, man. We don't even get to see Falcon Esports go for the base defense that they were building up to and they bought time for, as F.onic will punish any mistake they see. Now at 2-0, match point for this series. Again, going back to the drawing board here for Falcon Esports.
You know, Falcon, Fnatic onic Philippines, even though they're hyped up, exciting team, they're still not afraid to showcase their discipline, their macro gameplay, their patience up against a team like Falcon Esports. That game was executed to perfection by the whole squad of the Super Family.
Man, I'm just not sure the call there. You know, with Kid X, that was crucial. I was saying, you know, we need this implosion to see the tide turn possibly in the fight, but hey, maybe the panel can make sense of that. Panel, take it away. What do you guys think about this one?
Thanks, Jose and Jose. A little longer in the tank this one went. 17 minutes and 48, still the win for Fnatic onic Philippines. And with that, we are at match point. Gentlemen, it seems like Fnatic onic are also capable of swinging it over and giving Super Friends and King Kong a little bit of spotlight.
Yeah, this one wasn't really the age of Kelra, but yeah, again, Super Prince and King Kong combination. Just hard to match up with. You have the Joy, right? Super mobile, able to get to the objectives, and you know, we kind of talked about it briefly while the game was going on. The farm rotation from King Kong. He's able to farm very effectively with this Joy, take the neutral objectives, and also be aggressive. I think he got that first kill on Dax. You hear that orange buff?
Yeah, I think that's the big key, is he wasn't only a my job is to get the objectives type of jungler this time around. He was aggressive, he was able to attack, he was able to put damage out, and that's so important on these Joys because Joy can take a little bit of time, but because he was able to get some of those early game kills, he was online much faster.
And I think that's the beauty of this draft by F.onic Philippines. The fact that they, once again, in the second phase going in, allowed for the Suyo to come in despite the stats saying otherwise. You should not run the Suyo into the Joy or the Joy into the Suyo. It was the Joy in Cho opener. The draft alone, once again, allowed for F.onic to make the active calls and say, Falcon, are you sure? Falcon Esports, this is what we're ending up with. And let's look at the item builds, let's look at the stats. Despite it going longer, something tells me this was more of a non-starter for Falcon Esports.
Yeah, definitely hard to match the pace of F.onic, right? I mean, we talked about it from the beginning. Aggression versus endurance, and they're very aggressive. This is a 17-minute game, a little bit longer of a stretch than the last one, but still the same result, right? Even though Kelra wasn't really the one to get the job done, he played more for survivability on this one, right? He trusted in his teammates, he trusted in King Kong to be able to get those neutral objectives, and Super Friends from afar raining down the artillery. But I got a question. Was Faramis the right play?
I mean, the Faramis, when we saw it on the field, you're up against Kelra on this Claude, which I think can do a great job again.